Hello there, this is James and you're watching Tixee Live. And a very good morning to all of you, and all of you a very happy Wednesday. In today's program, I want to discuss, obviously, the main event happening today and how the market is holding its breath in anticipation for this event, plus a couple of other little things happening in the market, in particular with oil. But before I get into all of that, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever shall they be taken as financial advice. So I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started. So today is indeed Decision Wednesday. And of course, those of you who've maybe been living under a rock, who's not aware of what I'm talking about, I'm talking about, of course, about the Fed interest rate decision and press conference. Now, the market is anticipating a fourth straight 75 basis point rate hike. Okay, it is expecting this. And the reason for this is that the US job data keeps putting on the pressure on the Fed. Keeps putting pressure on it, because don't forget, we had a very good JOLTS opening yesterday. Very good. It was actually 10.7 million versus the 10.4 million expected. So the fact of the matter is they have a very good, very strong 75, 75, 75, 75. Yes, indeed. That is the anticipation. But very good point. But yeah, so the job data is continuing to put pressure on the Fed. Well, not necessarily pressure on the Fed, but giving the Fed green light to carry on being aggressive with its current interest rate cycle. But the question is there going to be any surprises? Could they even do 100? I doubt they will do 100, okay? 75 is pretty much priced in. In fact, the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Fed Watch tool, that points to a 90% chance of a 75 basic point rate hike tonight. And interesting enough, and we're going to start talking about this in a minute, interesting enough, they've actually put it down to a 51% chance of the 50 basic point rate hike in December. 51% chance of 50 in December. And this brings me to my point of what I think tonight is going to be all about. It's not necessarily the interest rate decision, unless it's a surprise, unless they do 100. If they do 75, that's pretty much priced in. That's pretty much expected already. What's going to be the highlight, and what's going to keep the market's attention, and the market's going to be obsessed with, is going to be the press conference, which happens 30 minutes after the decision. Because in that press conference, the market is hoping. Oh, thank you very much, Jerry. I really appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. I hope you're well. Thank you for the lovely comment. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the press conference is going to have the full attention, because the market is just hoping for Jay Powell tonight, Kapow as I call him, Jay Powell tonight may drop a hint that they're going to start calling down their interest rate hikes. Not stop doing it by all means, but doing less. Because don't forget, it's 475s tonight. If they do it, it's 4 times they've done 75. So they may hint, they may do 50 next time. And there's a couple of things which backs this up. First of all, there was a Wall Street Journal article, and it implied that some of the Fed members were beginning to cool down on being too aggressive. And it said that though they agree for 75 this time, there's a couple people thinking they might do just 50 in December, start cooling it down. And the other thing is, oh, you're welcome. Oh, thank you, Jerry. I hope you're well. I hope your family are well, my friend. Hope you're doing good. So this article is implying that some of the Fed members are beginning to cool down with the idea of doing a 50. And of course, we have seen dovish turns from the Reserve Bank of Australia, the ECB in their press conference, and the Bank of Canada. Don't forget, the RBA were doing 50, 50, 50, and the last two, they started doing 25. Bank of Canada was doing 1%. They were expected to do 75% last time, but instead they cooled down and only did 50. So again, this is implying, giving market hope that we could see some form of a Fed pivot tonight. And if we do indeed get dovish comments, and a hint from Powell or J. Powell of only a 50 basis point rate hike in December, the market could see this as a Fed pivot, and we could see potentially a bit of a boost in the market. However, if we get hawkish comments, including underlining the fight to get inflation down to 2%, and that another 75 basis point rate hike is still on the table, then that could spook the market. If Jay Powell continues to go on and say, committed to getting down to 2%, committed to fighting inflation, committed, or keeps committed to that, and then when he's asked the question, is 75 on the table, and he said, I'm not saying if it's not or not, it is or not, that would be hawkish. If he says, I see inflation cooling down, then that would be dovish. So again, like I say, this is what it could be. And the other thing, here's the other thing as well. Don't forget, the Fed have said, and you've got to go on their word. The Fed have said that decisions will be data-driven and no more forward guidance. In other words, it all depends on data coming up to base their decision on what they're going to do next, and no hint of what they're going to do in the future. Okay, so don't forget, we have US NFP, non-farm payroll, on Friday. Okay, and don't forget, the labor market has been pretty good. Like I said at the beginning of this video, the labor market has put pressure on the Fed to continue with their aggressive action. So we got NFP, a good number on that on Friday. Again, might underline the Fed. Plus, more importantly, next Thursday, we have the US CPI, another hotter than expected reading. Don't forget, year on year was 8.2, core was 6.6. If we get another hotter reading, then of course this means the Fed should be able to go full pelt with interest rate decisions. Anyway, don't forget the overall ground. Barclays think they will get interest rates to 5.25. Bank of America, 5%. Goldman Sachs believes 5%. JP Morgan, 4.75%. And Morgan Stanley, 4.75%. If they do indeed do 75 tonight, it means they hike their rates to 4%. So if Barclays is right, there's another 1.25% to go. So yeah, don't forget, this is a big event. This is obviously at, oops, the daisy. This is obviously happening tonight, 6 p.m. UTC is the decision. It's going to be 75, no doubt, unless they really surprise us. But more importantly, 6:30 p.m. UTC is the press conference. And the market will be watching that with bated breath. Other news, EU global manufacturing was announced today at 46.4 versus 46.6 expected. Don't forget, any number under 50 is negative, is bad news. So that is giving a hint that recession is on its way to the European Union. So there we go. Anyway, the market as it currently stands, the market is currently, like I say, as we guessed, is FOMC day. No big surprise. It's waiting with bated breath. Let's have a quick look at it, how it stands at the moment. First off, this is obviously the euro trading under 99 again, not helped by that EU manufacturing data, obviously. Currently finding a little bit of buying around 98.15, which is where the 50-day, 100-day moving average is. Currently trading at 0.9895. The cable, again, is under the 115 handle again, but it's pretty sideways as it stands. Currently trading under the 100 and the 200 moving average. Currently trading at 1.11495. Dollar yen, if you look on the daily, see where we are. Under, still really testing that key potential support at the moment, 147.17, which is round about that Fibonacci retracement level or ratio at 23.6, under that uptrend we had, that trend line we had now. But like I say, that would be a key pair. Another thing I'll mention about this pair, though, which I think will be really interesting tonight, is if we do get a lot of volatility, especially with this pair, will this push the BOJ to interact tonight or intervene tonight? So this will be a particular pair worth keeping an eye on. What else? Let's have a look at gold as well, as always. Still pretty much trading between those two key levels, $1,667.86 potential resistance, and $1,615.69 as well. S&P 500, futures, let's have a look how that is. Pre-sideward based at the moment, as you would expect on such a big day. Currently trading at 3,858 points as well. Bitcoin, let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Again, testing that key area of interest I've been watching for a long time. $20,355. Currently trading just above it at $20,501. So like, okay, will we have risk appetite? If we do get risk appetite, then obviously the crypto king known as Bitcoin could potentially benefit. In other news, I wanted to talk about oil. Oil is edging higher in hope that we're going to start seeing relaxation of China's zero COVID policy. Don't forget the fact that China's been in lockdown for quite a part of this year. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. And they are one of the biggest consumers of oil, has obviously kept oil sort of pressured slightly. Now, of course, don't forget, if they start coming out of lockdown, this is giving oil a little bit of boost. As well as that, announced yesterday, U.S. crude oil stocks fell by 6.5 million barrels for the week ending October the 28th. The analysts expected an increase of 400,000 barrels. So a decrease, again, is not good. So again, we got a supply issue and a potential growth in demand, which is giving oil a bit of a boost. What else is coming up today? Okay, there's one other thing. ADP employment change due today at 12:15 p.m. UTC. Don't forget, there are some traders out there who think this is like an indicator to how the NFP is going to be. I'm not quite sure. I don't always see the connection personally, because like I say, ADP, or stands for Automated Data Processing, it is the biggest payment, what would you call it? Electronic payment system, payroll system. Okay. Actually, I think the P stands for payroll. So that gives a reading of how many new jobs are created. The expectation for this is 195,000. Previous reading was 208,000. Like I said, some out there believe this is like an indicator to how the NFP can be. I never really see the connection, to be totally open with you. But still, worth keeping an eye on, could be a potential market mover, especially with what's happening tonight. So those are the big events coming up. ADP employment change, Fed interest rate decision, FOMC press conference, Bank of England interest rate decision tomorrow. Will they do 100? They're probably going to do 75, but that's going to be a good one. I might do a special coverage on that. US ISM services PMI, and of course, ending the week out, US non-farm payroll and US unemployment rate. Now, there is something else I'd like to talk to you about, because I said I'm only going to do one broadcast today because tonight is the next episode of my new series called Tixee Live Presents The Trading School. This is presented jointly with a good colleague of mine, Stefanos, who's a very good and well-known analyst as well. And we were doing our latest episode tonight at 6 p.m. UTC. The topic tonight we're going to be discussing will be support or understanding support and resistance. Okay. So like I say, this is again tonight at 6 p.m. UTC, next episode of Tixee Live Presents Trading School. Now, obviously it's going to be slightly different. It's not broadcasted directly onto YouTube. In fact, there's a link. And if you want to register for this event, there's a link in the description below. So please click the link and register and come and join me tonight at 6 p.m. UTC. I look forward to seeing you all there. Market as it currently stands, FTSE currently in the red, negative 0.10%. DAX currently negative in the red, negative 0.04%. And Euro Stock 50 currently trading slightly in the green, 0.14%. Don't forget, you can ask me questions anytime you wish, or simply say hello. Well, let me know your opinion. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about the Fed tonight? Are they going to give us a hint of 50? I mean, that Wall Street Journal article, I think, is interesting, because that's how they got their information out last time, by dropping an article in the Wall Street Journal ahead of the event. So that might have something to it. But even though, like I say, RBA's been dovish, ECB's been dovish, especially in their press conference, Bank of Canada, they can, all their economies are slightly different. All their economies is slow, so especially the EU is showing a slowdown. The US at the moment, they still have a very, 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 very strong labor market. very strong labour market. In fact, really technically, I think that job opening sort of says there's almost 2 jobs to every 1 employed person. So it's a really interesting, really interesting thing. I think it would be 75, but the press conference would be interesting. Press conference is going to be key, in my opinion. It's going to be key. It's going to be key. It's all going to be about that. We're priced in 75. We're expecting 75. So the market's really priced it in. It's what he says in the press conference. It's what Kapow says in the press conference. Will he be dovish, or will he drop hints of being more aggressive again? But yeah, that's definitely going to be a very good point. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I really do. I'm really excited about it. And like I say, unfortunately, I will be doing my episode of Trading School at that time. But I'll talk a little bit about it as it happens, because I'll obviously be live anyway at that time. So we can watch a little bit of that while we're doing our Trading School episode. Don't forget, if you think of a question later, you can put it in the comments section, either in YouTube or Facebook. I will see them and I will reply to it next time I go live on air, which of course for Tixee Live will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. UTC, I think it is, or is it 7:30 now? 7:30, I think it is. 7:30 a.m. UTC. So please come and join me for that. And again, tomorrow, like I said, I'll probably do special coverage of Bank of England as well, because I think that's going to be fascinating. And of course, my usual US session tomorrow as well. So please come and join me for that. If there is no questions, not a problem. Not a problem. Like I always say, don't forget, if you want to come to tonight's episode of Trading School, click the description. Go on the description and click the link and register on the link below. Hope to see you there. But anyway, till next time, if you're watching me on Facebook and you enjoyed this little video, by all means, give us a follow. If you're watching me on YouTube and you enjoyed this little video, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification button so you know next time I'm going live. If you enjoyed this video, find it interesting and useful, by all means, give me one of these. It's nice to know that you like what I do. But anyway, till next time, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.